Hello and welcome to Tech Tool India. In this video, I am going to explain you about image upload in Laravel 9. So in this video, we are going to see how we can upload images in Laravel 9. If you are coming to the channel for the first time, please do subscribe our channel to never miss any video on Laravel. So without wasting any time, let's get started. To upload an image, what we need to do, we need to install a Laravel. So I have already installed Laravel project. If you want to see how you can install this Laravel, you can click on the I button or find the video in the description. So without wasting any time, let's get started. The very first thing which we need to do in order to achieve an image upload is to create a controller. To create a controller, we need to run a command php artisan make controller and image controller. This controller will be used for uploading images and handling the request. Let's create this. As you run the command, it will create a controller inside app HTTP controllers. This is a image controller. As soon as you create the controller, you need to create two functions. First is to view file where you upload the image. To upload image, the name of function would be, this will be a public function, and the name of function, let's say index. What it does, it will return a view file. The second function which we need here is to actually store the images. So to store images, store image, we need to create a function called store image. You can give it any name, and this function will accept the request coming from the form. Cool. So we have created these two functions. We'll update the code inside the function later in the video. So the next thing which we need to do now is create a root for these two. So let's open web.php file. In root, what we can do, we can create a group of controller where it will be image controller. This will be a class, and we can create a group of this which will handle all the function inside this group. So the first root which we require is a get, and the root is image upload. Let's give it a URL, and the function which this will access is index function, simple index function. Let's give it a name and name it as image.form. Right, this will be an image form. The next root we need to register here is a post, and the root will be upload image, and the function which will call this root is store, and we'll name it image.store. Cool. So as we have created our two roots, first is to view, second is to upload the image. The next thing which we need to do is to create a view file where we put the form. So let's go into resources, views folder, and inside that views, I'll create a new file, name it image form.blade.php. So to put it a simple content, what I'll do, I'll just copy the basic content here and put it like image upload. Let's see how it looks, and then we'll adjust our form. So we have created a blade file. Next, what we need to do, in our image controller of index file, we need to return this view so that it will view inside our browser. So let's go to the browser and visit /image upload and see what is the result for this particular route. So let's see if we have this. You see, we can see our image upload. As soon as we go to this image upload URI, we are able to see this image upload there as we have written inside our view blade file. So let's create a form here, simple form, which will be our, let's give it a form. Inside a form, give it a method. Method would be post, and the action for form will be, we'll give it the name of root, and root will be our image.store. And as we are going to upload files, so what we are going to do, we are going to define enc type and then form data, multi-part form data. So this is the form element. Inside that, what we'll do, we'll create some inputs. So we'll create input and give it a type of form file, type of file, give it a class of form control. The name of this will be image. Cool. So we have given it few basic details, and then what we'll have one button. The type of the button would be a submit, and name of the button will be upload. Let's refresh this and see how it looks. Cool. So we have very basic structure here to upload a file, select a file and upload button. To give button some class, we'll give it a class button, some bootstrap, basic bootstrap class I'm just adding. Cool. So we have added some basic class, and we'll see how we can get the file from here to our response of controller. So what we'll do here inside our store image function, what we'll do, we will just dump all the requests coming through controller, right? So we'll do that, add a semicolon here on the request all. We just dumped everything coming to this particular request. Let's refresh this, and if you notice, we haven't added any CSR of production for this, so this is going to fail. What we need to add here is to give a CSR of protection, and then we'll refresh this page. And now what I'll do, I'll just select a sample image here and hit the upload button. As you go here, you see there is a store does not exist, like it's giving like store does not exist because we have given the name as a store image. So we need to update our web.php similar to what we have written inside our function. So let's go back, refresh this page and select an image here again and upload it. As you see, we are getting one image as a file, and then one token is there, right? So the next thing we need to do is to update our controller with validations. So in order to write the validation, we need to go inside our controller store image function. The very first thing we write here is to validate our image request. To validate, we have several methods, but I am going to use the simplest one, the request and then validate function. Inside a validate function, it requires an array of rules. So I just need to pass the name of the field and then the rules. Rules are, the very first rule is it's a required. The second is it should be an image, and the third we can define is the MES, like PNG, JPG and JPEG. I'm defining these three. You can define any other as per your requirement. The next thing is I need to define a maximum value of 2048 KBs, that is 2 MB, right? So this is the validation. Let's save it, go to our browser, refresh it. It's coming to the dump. So that means our validation is correct, right? So the next thing we need to do is to store these images in our local, and then maybe store it in a database as well. But for now, I'm not going to store this in the database. I'm just moving this to our local folder so that we can just validate these things, like okay, how we can get the image. So what we need to do here, I just want to give a name to the image which is coming. So let's take it a variable called image name, and that variable will accept a symbol time function. I'm just giving a unique name. In order to give a unique name, you can use either time, because every time will have a unique value, and then give it a dot, add it a underscore or dot, whatever you want, and then concatenate it with the extension, whatever the extension of the file is, request of image and the extension, right? So extension, cool. So we will just give this particular image a unique image name, and then what we'll do, we'll move this to our, to upload an image, you can have different ways to put your image inside a folder. Like if you want to put your images inside a public folder, if you want to put your images on a storage folder, if you want to put your images on S3 bucket. So there are several different methods to put this. The very first thing which I am going to explain here is if you want to move your image into public folder. So all you need to do here, simply take a request and then get the image, and then move is the function which will use move it, and then in move function you need to give a particular path where it needs to be there. So I'm just going to use a public path here, and inside a public path I'm going to use an images folder, and then the second would be what will be the file name. If we want to change that, we want to change it to image name, that because that image name is a unique for each image. So this way what we are doing, we are just taking the file from the request and moving that particular file inside the images folder of the public. So what it will do, it will check if there is any images folder inside our public folder. If not, then it will create an images folder and then move the new created file with this new file name, right? So after that you can write your code here to store. If you want to store image in DB, then you can write logic to store it, and to store you just need to store this particular image name, right? You just need to store the image name, and then you can retrieve it whenever you want, right? And now what if you want to store it in a storage folder? So the similar thing will be there. If you want to store this is for a public folder, this is for a public folder, and then if you want to store it in a storage folder, so what you need to do, you simply need to, like, if you want to store in storage folder, so what you need to do, you just need to request of image, and then you need to call a function store as, right? You just need to call a function store as, and then pass the name of the folder where you want to store and the name of the file which you want to store, right? this will store your file inside your storage folder. Cool. And similarly, if you want to store this particular in a S3 bucket, so you need to define a bucket here. Just like you need to pass a third parameter of the storage. Store in S3, you need to pass a third parameter here is a bucket, which bucket you want to store. So if I define it as S3, it will store this inside a S3 folder. To store in S3, you need to configure your file system. If you go in a configs and then file system, you'll see there is a default local and these are the disks. So as you define the S3 disk, you need to give these credentials in order to work it properly, right? So we have seen we can store it differently, but for now let's see like how we can see this particular example in public folder, right? I'm going to comment it out and this public folder which is working, right? So the next thing we need to do is to return as we have taken the image, stored in the public folder. Now it's time to return this response, right? And we need to return a response. To return the response, what we need to do, I just need to return on the same route, return back, right? But while returning, what we need to do here, we need to go with a message which will take at a success message and we'll call it image uploaded successfully, right? The image uploaded successfully. And if you want to see like if this image you can access it or not, you can pass another with which will store your image, right? And in order to see that, you need to pass this as a image name. I mean, whatever the image name you have taken, you need to pass that, right? So in this way, you are returning a success as well as you are returning the image. So now what you need to do, you need to go in your view file and update this particular blade file to display the returning message and as well as the image which you have written, right? So what you need to do here, you need to write if there is any response. Let's see if there is any message. So let's take it as a message, and if there is any message which will be a success message, and right, if there is any success message, then what we need to do, we need to alert it. So I'm just going to use a default alerts of Bootstrap and give it like alert success and alert block in order to display the alert messages. So these are the classes, so we need to put inside a class, right? Cool. So we have a div. Inside a div we need to display the message. So what we need to do here, we'll take it as a strong, and inside that we'll display this message, right? So we have displayed the message. The next thing we need to display is our image. So we'll take an image, right? We'll take an image at HTML attribute and then we'll give it a source. And while giving the source, we know we have our image name, but we need to give a path of public folder. So we can simply pass it as an asset, and then inside an asset we need to continue it as images, and we need to pass the name of image. The name of image is we are getting it through the session image. So here what we need to do, we need to put some session variable and get the image. So by this we'll get the image, right? So let's go to our folder. Let's go in our application and refresh it. As soon as you refresh it, you see image uploaded successfully, and the one image we have uploaded is being displayed here. As you refresh this, it will go again, and if you choose any other image, any of the image, if I choose this, you see we are able to upload the images, right? So it's working. Let's verify this inside our folder. Let's go inside a public folder, and you'll find there is a images folder, and you see we are getting these images, right? We are getting these images. The one thing which we need to update here, instead of this particular thing, we need to give it like this, right? Now if I try to upload one image and select the image and upload it, right? It's been uploaded. Now if you go to the public folder and see the images, you'll see the particular image format is there. Cool. So this is a very simple thing which I have explained you. I hope you get some idea about like how you can upload image in a Laravel with the simplest way. You can move your files in any of the public folder or storage folder or S3 bucket. You can use anything, and then you just need to store your image inside a database, image name in the database, and then retrieve that file whenever you want it. So this is a simple example of how you can upload the images in Laravel 9. In a future video, I'll explain how you can upload multiple images in a Laravel 9. If you have any question related to file upload or image upload in Laravel 9, you can put your questions in the comment down, and I'll try to answer all of your questions. If you have any topic suggestions, like you want to see any videos in a Laravel which you wanted to learn, so please put your comments down. I'll try to make all those videos. Till the next videos, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you for watching.